I think in some ways death has lost its sacred value in life, and I have a deep passion and care to bring or to invite that sense of the sacred back in to a very, very precious time that is a magical time for families, can be a very magical time. A lot can happen when we slow down and actually meet a loved one who's on their way, heading out soon, and meeting ourselves when we're leaving this world. Like my friend Divine said, remember, you're saying goodbye to me. I'm saying goodbye to the world. That got me, yeah. That we will all say goodbye to this world. And if we haven't been here, we're going to have a lot of regret. And what does really being here mean for you, for each person? So that if it's tomorrow and you're 59 like me, or if it's 10 years or 20 years, that every one of those days has been spent with consciousness and care for relationship, and again, for the earth and for all of creation. In the last 50 years, a dramatic shift from family-centered death care, from community-centered death care, to professionalizing end of life. And so I feel that Living Well, Dying Well really provides such an incredible resource for people who want that responsibility back, want the care for themselves and for their loved ones back in their own heart and their own hands. A lot of folks really just want to be informed, to be more informed about the possibilities for shape-shifting end of life in our culture, and to not being over-medicalized, to not having their end of life be about medical appointments, when to make decisions and how to make decisions that interface with our families and the medical system in a conscious way, where we are the wisdom keepers of our living and our dying. Each of the sessions has a theme to it, themes like belonging, befriending, beholding, and being. And so when we start to move into that session 3, from befriending into beholding, there's a real sense of, gosh, I'm in this with everyone. Every human on the planet is going to experience this. And what we call dying. And so I definitely feel a brightness and real interest in living well, real interest in, oh, how does this affect how I live well now? Oh my gosh, you know, these are my values. If these are my values and these are my wishes, why am I not living them now? And then the gift of sharing that with others, the real gift of sharing what yours are and standing behind them and with them. And the Center for Earth and Spirit, our program, we really deeply care about the earth. We want the earth included. And so that's the other thing I love to see is folks who wake up. Oh, it matters what I choose for my end of life care, even after I die. That even matters to the earth. That can be a contribution to reciprocity with the earth. Not just what is sustainable, but what is reciprocal. That this body is of the earth, of all the elements. And when I can really embody that, I know I belong anywhere, here with this tree, out in the ocean, in my home, with you, with others. The deep belonging here allows us, I don't know, somehow to belong to everything. And that everything belongs to us, not in the ownership way, but to care for and to be in reciprocity with. I think one of the ones I loved was a first round of a class where we asked, you know, something to the effect, what are your wishes for after death care? You know, what will happen to your body? How do you see your family gathering for ceremony? maybe. What would your wishes be? What would you want? And this woman, she had lost her husband a couple years previous, and she said, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be here anyway. And, you know, they can do whatever they want. And then some people say, well, I don't want to be a burden. So I'm just going to suggest that nothing happens. And by the end of that particular class, when there's this real felt sense around the benefit of actually caring about what happens after you die to your body, how will that affect the earth? How would it affect your loved ones to have some wishes for that time? How would it allow them to show up in the death space, possibly with more awareness and consciousness? And not demanding, just what could be your wishes. And then for ceremony, because I have such a deep care for ceremony. And by the end of it, this woman was making notes ferociously, and she was like, wow, I have a lot of research to do. I have a lot to explore in this space. And as we know, you know, that space of what happens to a body is shifting super fast. In some ways, super slow, because it kind of shifted from traditional burial and, you know, possibly in ways that were not sustaining for the earth to natural burial and conservation burial. And now it's transitioning into a whole new space. I mean, cremation kind of took over, but it, in some ways, not the best choice for millions of people to choose. So what are the ways that the body can be a resource and be offered to the earth? And if we have, you know, a belief that includes consciousness and spirit and soul, then how does that liberate the soul, spirit, consciousness when we do take care of the body? I'm curious. I'm really curious.